to Stoppage Time with IPJ and my man John Buckets. Buckets, real quickly, how are you, man?
I'm doing a lot better than Bayern Munich today, Ian. I will leave it at that. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, mate. Doing okay, hanging in there. Just enjoying another episode of Stoppage Time, and had a very, very good Champions League week on CBS Sports, Golzao Network. It has been tremendous to watch how successful it's been this week with goals, with drama, with red cards. Certainly not short in storylines as well. The Champions League has not disappointed, and it's teed up perfectly for match day 8, which, of course, me and you, Buckets, will be back with a preview and some best bets next week for the Champions League. But it's shaping up pretty nicely.
Yeah, shipping up very nicely because we got a lot of teams that actually have to try in this last match day. We finally know what teams need to win, what teams don't really need to win. It's going to allow for us to have some really, really good bets and probably find some really good value as well.
Yeah, don't forget you can go join us on our social media platforms. The YouTube shorts are going out there from producer Jeff. TikToks are going out there as well. We've got Instagram Reels as well going out there. A little bit slow this past week because myself and Hot Coco have been a little bit under the weather. The shorts have been up there from producer Jeff, though, and doing pretty fine. So make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, including X, formerly known as Twitter. And John Bucket Timer, can people follow you on your subscription service? Chance to promote.
You absolutely can. You can follow me at dubclub.com/bucketjohnbets, BJB. We'll go with that. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Check me out there. I've always got some extra bets if the ones on the show are not quite enough for you. My mind's somewhere else today, Ian.
BJ Buckets. Everyone's getting scared now with that title right there. On today's show, we've got bets, and more bets. So everybody out there who loves the bets will be excited about the show. We're not going to waste any time with the chat yet. We're going to go straight into the bets. So Buckets, coming up this weekend, that is where our focus is going to be. Some of the big games to look forward to. I'm keeping it short and simple. On Friday, we got games in Spain, Germany, Italy, and France. On Saturday, some of the big games, Manchester City against Chelsea, Borussia Dortmund with a new interim boss at the helm. They'll be taking on Werder Bremen. Of course, Nuri Sahin just recently fired after a disappointment against Bologna. We've got Leipzig against Leverkusen in the Bundesliga as well, which is quite tasty, with Leverkusen in that battle to keep up the race with Bayern Munich at the top of the table. And in Italy, we've got Napoli against Juventus. What a tasty game that's going to be on Sunday. Barcelona, Valencia, St. Pauli, the mighty St. Pauli against Union Berlin, and Nice against Marseille is a real tasty game over in the league that we don't care about. That is Ligue 1. And on Monday, we've got games in Spain and Italy, plus the English Championship with an absolute beauty. It's Burnley against Leeds United in the EFL Championship on Monday, which is an absolute cracking game to look forward to. So you knew it wouldn't be an episode of Stoppage Time if we didn't get some best bets from our betting expert. That is, of course, our blonde bombshell, the betting unicorn, John Buckets Eimer. Buckets, we got to get back to hitting some of these big bangers because the soccer world's been very unpredictable of late. Let's hope this weekend is more predictable for you. I'm looking for 8 best bets from you. 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. That makes 6, not 8. My math is incorrect. However, I'm excited about what we've got going on. So let's get to your best bet for Friday, please.
You said 8 best bets, and I went, shit. Okay, well, got to find something real quick. Nope, let's do 1 best bet for Friday, and let's go to the match that Ian already mentioned, the La Liga clash between Las Palmas taking on Osasuna. And when you look at La Liga especially, sometimes you get really, really good odds on goals because the sportsbooks understandably respect that a lot of these teams play good defenses, that a lot of these teams aren't the most high-scoring teams. You're not going to get a lot of your Bayern Munich's, minus yesterday, your PSVs, your Liverpool's, teams like that. And especially when you get to the middle of the table, a lot of the time, these teams are just ignored, but I will not ignore them. Las Palmas versus Osasuna, both teams to score is almost even money. It is minus 110 currently, and you've got 2 teams that are both scoring and conceding an average of more than 1 goal per matchup. Osasuna, especially right now, has been a ton of fun to watch this season, as they have now seen both teams to score a hit in 4 of their last 5 matches. The only time it did not hit in those 5 was a 1-0 loss to Atletico Madrid, which frankly a lot of people struggle to score against, so it happens. We have 2 middle-of-the-table teams that really don't have a ton going for them. No one's too scared of relegation yet. Las Palmas is getting there. No one's pushing too hard for a top 6 spot. Osasuna kind of pushing there. But this is going to be a really cagey, really close battle, Ian. And I would not be shocked if we saw a draw, maybe a 1-1, maybe a 2-2, maybe even a 2-1 to Osasuna. But I love BTTS and goals in this matchup.
I'm going to use a little different format for this show, Buckets. I'm not necessarily going to react to every single bet that you're putting out there, but I am going to throw in a few little tasty wagers to look forward to as well. On Friday, there's Wolfsburg against Holstein Kiel in the German league. I'm looking at the first half money line for Wolfsburg. It's currently sitting at minus 115 for the first half money line. If Wolfsburg are leading by halftime against Holstein Kiel, remember, Wolfsburg at home have been very, very good so far this season. They've obviously got a very good record overall, sitting 7th in the Bundesliga table, trying to get themselves closer and closer to that European place. But at home, obviously, they've been pretty much dominant, but still can do better. They've only won 3 games from 9. They have lost to 4, but scored 19 goals, which is where I'm putting my money. So I'm looking at them taking on an Holstein Kiel side who are very much struggling in the Bundesliga so far this season. They are the worst away team in the Bundesliga this season. 0 wins, 2 draws, 6 defeats, 21 goals conceded. So I'm looking at that first half money line for Wolfsburg. 45 minutes into the game, if Wolfsburg are leading, you cash a minus 115 ticket. Buckets, let's go to your best bet number 1 for Saturday, please.
Best bet number 1 for Saturday is going to be looking at an EPL fixture between Southampton and Newcastle. And there's a lot of different ways you can bet this game, but I am betting on a couple very specifically. The thing I'm focusing on the most is how poor defensively Southampton have been this season. 50 goals conceded in 22 matches, only a single win and 18 losses so far this season. Right now, you could bet on anyone to score against Newcastle. You could give me a second, third, fourth division team in the Bundesliga, and I would still take them to score on Southampton. My apologies right now. And when I'm looking at Newcastle, this is a team that did really, really good for a very long time, and they're coming off of this game, or they're coming into this game off a very embarrassing loss to Bournemouth, in which they lost at home 4-1. But before that happened, 3-0 over Wolves, 2-0 over Arsenal, 2-1 over Tottenham, 2-0 over Man United, 3-0 over Aston Villa, 4-0 over Ipswich Town. They were running over teams in the Premier League, and I think this one little blip against Bournemouth will not slow this down. I am expecting an immediate and instant bounce back from Newcastle, which is why I don't mind playing a riskier bet here. Newcastle over 1.5 team total in the first half, Ian, at plus 220. If Newcastle get 2 goals in the first half, you cash this plus 220 ticket. Bet responsibly, be careful, but I'm expecting a very angry Alexander Isak in this matchup, and he might score 2 by himself here.
Well, especially the way Southampton are conceding goals right now, certainly I would be very concerned. I mean, Newcastle have got to bounce back in some sort of way, especially after humiliation against Bournemouth. I mean, Justin Kluivert's hat-trick was really special, but to concede 4 goals in that game, I think was a bit of an embarrassment for Newcastle. Now, there is a tasty little wager that I'm looking for in this game specifically, Buckets. I'm looking at Newcastle obviously getting a couple of goals. There's no doubt in my mind they should win this game, especially with how Southampton have been playing at home. Under Juric, they're a little better. They're more in games. So I do think that Southampton actually get a goal in this game. So what I'm saying here is I think there will be both teams to score, but no draw in this game at plus 115 as a tasty little wager for everybody out there, because I still think the Buckets hits his bet, and I do think that Newcastle score 3 or maybe 4 goals in this game. So feel free to choose to ladder if you want to do that. Choose your own bet in this game, but you've got one from Buckets there, which is our best bet for this matchup. But I'm also throwing in there that I think that Southampton get a goal in this game. Newcastle get the victory. Therefore, the both teams to score and no draw at plus 115 looks like a good look for me. Okay, let's go to your second best bet for Saturday.
My second best bet for Saturday is going to be going to the German Bundesliga, because I'm focusing on another team that desperately needs to bounce back here. Of course, my beloved Bavarians, Bayern Munich, coming off a 3-0 loss to Feyenoord. I'm just going to do my best not to talk bad about this team, because I was so frustrated watching that game, watching missed opportunity after missed opportunity, which means now Freiburg is the unfortunate victims of Bayern Munich, who will be looking to immediately bounce back under Victor Kompany and score 5 or 6 goals in this matchup. Taking the classic here, over 1.5 goals in the first half at plus 100, not Bayern Munich, but just in the match, because we know Bayern Munich likes to concede right now. So take 2 goals in that first half, Ian, at plus 100. Either of these teams are capable of scoring 2, and I'm hoping we see the Bayern Munich that we know is somewhere deep down in the squad still.
I'm really looking forward to this game, because I'm looking to see some sort of a bounce back for Bayern Munich in particular, especially after that humiliation against Feyenoord and Rotterdam. Difficult performance, not easy. You know, they had 30 shots in that game. 30 fucking shots in a Champions League game, and they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. They made some defensive errors as well, which clearly was their punishment. But I do think this Freiburg team is something that you've got to be very worried about, and especially at the top of the table with obviously Leverkusen playing Leipzig. There's a battle there and an opportunity for Bayern Munich to create some of a gap. So I do support you with this bet. I do think that this one's got a real opportunity of hitting. I would say, though, Freiburg, you got to be careful with them, because they've been humiliated of late. And I mean absolutely humiliated. They conceded 4 goals against Frankfurt. They conceded 4 goals against Stuttgart, both of them away from home. At home is where they turn it on, though. 3 goals against Kiel, 3 goals against Wolfsburg, and obviously 3 goals against Borussia Mönchengladbach, which is where I think, obviously, you might see Freiburg get at least 1 goal in this game as well. So all of you people out there who like those wild bets, look out for the numbers on Freiburg getting a goal and 2 in this game. This could be a thriller. It could be a 5-3, something crazy like that, which I'm hoping that Bayern Munich don't necessarily want to see that, especially going into that final Champions League game, which we all expect them to win, but a game that they must win in the Champions League as well. Okay, let's go to Sunday and your best bet number 1.
The first best bet is going to be one of those leagues that I know a lot of people don't bet on or focus on as much as I do, but there's tremendous value to be had there. I'm looking at the Turkish Super Lig and a big matchup between Fenerbahce taking on Göztepe, and I'm taking both teams to score at -120. A little bit of juice here, but it's kind of crazy considering the fact that Göztepe have scored in 18 of their 19 league matches this season, and they are a +800 underdog right now. Fenerbahce is, of course, the much better team. 49 goals scored, second on the table, 14 wins out of 19 matches. They are such a good side, but defensively, that is not where they shine. Fenerbahce is good because they can score 3, 4, 5 goals against you. They can run up the score, and they are not good enough at stopping a team like Göztepe, again, a team who has scored every single matchup but one this season, from scoring. Göztepe has been a ton of fun to watch. They have scored in both of their fixtures against Galatasaray this season. This is a team that does not play scared, timid football. They do not care who their opponent is, Ian, and BTTS at -120 is ridiculous because I would have taken the same bet at -150.
You're questioning why most people don't watch the Turkish League. How about one of the comments from Jose Mourinho, currently managing in the Turkish League? This was about 2 months ago, where he said, nobody abroad wants to watch the Turkish League. Who wants to watch this Turkish League abroad? They have the Premier League. They have the French League. They have the German League. They have the Portuguese League. They have the Dutch League. Why should they see this? It's too grey. It's too dark. It smells bad. But that's my job, and I will give everything in my job to my club. Quite interesting comments from someone who's currently managing in the Turkish League. All right, let's go to your best bet number 2 for Sunday.
For the sake of our nation, it is time for us to join.
Let me try this one again. Best bet number 2 for Sunday is a team that we all like to wager on and one of our favorite players to bet on across all of Europe right now. I'm looking at Barcelona versus Valencia, the same Barcelona that just beat Benfica and what might have been one of the most entertaining Champions League games I have ever watched in my life, in which they won 5-4 off a 90 plus 6-minute goal from Rafinha in that game. Ian, I watched you on CBS Golzao break down this game a little bit more. If you have not watched that, you need to. You need to rewatch this game entirely because it was just that much fun. But when we're betting on this game, we are consistently seeing a disrespectful line for one Lamine Yamal here, as his to score or assist is currently +120, Ian. I'm looking at a Barcelona side that might be a little bit tired. Hey, they might rotate a little bit because they're so much better than Valencia, but he is young enough and he is good enough that he will still be starting. And I absolutely love him at plus odds to score or assist, especially with the strikers they have, with Lewandowski in form and Rafinha in form. He has kind of been the assist guy with 9 assists so far this season, leading the team, but he's also good enough to score from anywhere on the pitch. Love him at +120.
Yeah, I'm definitely not taking my eyes away from what Barcelona are doing right now. Obviously, it's incredible to watch these youngsters play. They had 2 17-year-olds starting their game, which was quite remarkable in the Champions League. To put out that type of a comeback against Benfica was really special. Always keep an eye out on Lewandowski for scoring goals, even though he is, 37 years old. The guy's still banging in the goals left, right, and centre. Clearly very good at taking penalty kicks as well. I think he's equaled the record by Cristiano Ronaldo for 19 penalty kicks taken in a Champions League. He has the highest success rate of taking penalty kicks as well. So he's scoring more than he's missing, clearly. But yeah, Buckus pointed out there, if you haven't gone and had a look at our breakdown of that incredible game, Benfica against Barcelona, which of course ended up 5-4 in the closing stages of the game. I did a great breakdown on CBS Sports Golzao Network on Scoreline. I'm going to have producer Jeff put the link to that little breakdown in our show. Buckets, that fucking breakdown, by the way, got over 200,000 views on YouTube, which is getting close to being some sort of a record for, especially the Golzao Network crew that we've got there. We know that the Champions League show is doing so well on social media. Kate Scott, and obviously the show over there. I feel crazy saying Kate Scott. Like, she's Kate Abdo to me. Obviously, haven't worked with her. But Kate Scott and the crew over there, Micah, Jamie, and Thierry, doing such a great job. But for us in particular, especially the crew in Scoreline, having those types of numbers on YouTube is really remarkable. So if you haven't watched it yet, make sure you go and check it out and see the breakdown of it. And it's been kind of fun, Buckets, to see those types of numbers, even on Golzao Network, putting out those types of numbers on YouTube. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool to see it. It's very impressive to see. And it makes sense when you see the people covering these Champions League games, Ian. I know I've got a little bit of bias, but watching you break down a match compared to other people who I'm not naming, it's just a little bit of a different vibe. I always want to see what you're doing and the energy you bring. So it makes me happy to hear that.
All right, let's get to your best bet for Monday, please.
The Monday best bet is going to be a stressful one, but it's one that I absolutely have to take. I am almost legally required to take this game because it is such a good matchup in the EFL Championship. I'm on Burnley and Leeds because I wasn't going to look anywhere else when you have these two Titans playing. Leeds currently top of the table. They have only 3 losses, 17 wins. They've got 53 goals scored and only 19 goals conceded. One of the best defenses in all of Championship, by the way. Except when you look at Burnley. Burnley has been the defensive titan of the Championship this season. 36 goals scored in 28 games, 9 goals allowed, Ian, in 28 games. That is truly a remarkable stat. They're conceding an average of once every 3 games. So understandably, the under is where a lot of people are looking. But something about this game, something about watching Burnley just beat down Plymouth Argyle 5-0, something about watching Leeds be so destructive this season, taking down Norwich City 2-0. We have 2 of the best offenses in the Championship and as well as 2 of the best defenses. But Ian, I think this is going to be one of the games where the ketchup bottle opens early. We see a goal within the first 15 minutes and things explode here. I think defense is not the priority when you have 2 teams that understand the importance of 3 points in a matchup like this. At this point in the season, there's only 3 points separating these teams. Both teams don't want to get a draw out of this. I'm expecting goals in this one, which means that both teams to score being plus 110. I have to take it. I'm sorry, I got to do it.
Unfortunately so. I mean, listen, obviously both of these teams love scoring goals there. You mentioned Burnley scoring goals against Plymouth. They scored 5 goals in the first 45 minutes. It was absolutely insane. 5 goals in the first 45 minutes. I almost text you to say, I hope you took the over 4.5 in the first 45 minutes of that game. Obviously no Wayne Rooney on the sidelines for Plymouth anymore. Burnley only conceded 9 goals this season from 28 games. Obviously Leeds have played 28 games and they've actually scored 53 goals compared to the Burnley 36 goals that they scored. And I know Leeds have conceded 19. So Leeds scoring more than they are conceding, obviously winning games, but they've lost one more game than Burnley, who have really put out an excellent defense. And there was a game recently where Burnley were playing Sunderland and they saved 2 penalty kicks in stoppage time to keep it 0-0 in that game and obviously protect the clean sheet, which has been quite remarkable. And I think it's James Trafford who's the goalkeeper at Burnley right now. How about this? 18 clean sheets from 27 games so far this season. Is it possible, Buckets? Is it possible that this might be the one that we go, yeah, we're expecting goals? No.
It's definitely possible. It's kind of like when I give out a take and I'll give out both teams to score and you go, Buckets, both teams to score hasn't hit in the last 45 times these 2 teams play. And I go, I feel like it's going to be the one, Ian. That's kind of the vibes I'm going here. Of course, it could end 0-0, but I just think it's going to be different. And I'm hoping it's going to be different. So make sure to bet responsibly here.
Under 0.5 goals. So yes, 0-0 is currently sitting at plus 650 right now for that game. So there you can see where the bookies are leaning, and there you can see where John Bucket Timer is leaning as well. A 20-minute show, Buckets. Thank you very much for everything you've done. Make sure you comment on our YouTube page. A lot of great comments for producer Jeff as well. And make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you're liking our shows, every single one of them as well. The numbers have been very good. Thank you so much for your continued support. Share the show if you obviously enjoy it. Make sure you do so on the social media platforms, but also do it on YouTube as well. If you see the link, share the show or tell people about the show as much as you possibly can. Before we go, we got to say a very big happy birthday to our Zoe, of course, the voice you hear at the end of our show is producer Jeff's Zoe. She just turned 10 years old now, and we want to say a very, very big happy birthday to her as well. And we know they've got a new addition in the family, not quite the one that most people out there would think when I say new addition, but congratulations to Jeff, producer Jeff, and his family, especially our Zoe, who plays a big role in our show. Buckets, final words from you before we get the fuck out of here. What are you doing this weekend?
I just want to say happy birthday to Zoe. I am dedicating all 6 of these winners to you. So when I sweep, just know that was a birthday present for Zoe. I am watching football this weekend. It is negative 10 degrees here right now. So I'm staying inside and kind of hibernating for a little bit.
Dude, it's been fucking freezing here as well, man. I'm not gonna lie. It snowed here. I had 10 inches at our house, and 10 inches of snow has not fucked off since because it's been like negative 15 on some of the days around here, which of course is Fahrenheit, Celsius, whatever you want to go. It's been very weird. Love you, buddy. Great work as always. Thank you very much to the loyal listeners out there. Sorry we missed you on the Champions League last week, but we will be back for a Champions League special for match day 8 next week. That one should drop on Tuesday around, I would say, an hour before kickoff or close to kickoff, so that producer Jeff can get those earlier kickoffs. I actually think all of the games kick off at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. Something crazy, I think, next week. So we'll get some fun action going on with the Champions League next week. But to everybody out there, make sure you have a great weekend. Bet responsibly with everything we put out there for you, and make sure you absolutely have it!
Stoppage time. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Why didn't mess up the house? Mess up. Oh, mess up the house. Oh, mess up. Mess up the house. Oh, baby. It looks so wonderful at the beginning.